The recent news about the Ugandan airport surrounding the Chinese debt trap was hugely circulated on social media and mainstream news channels. So if you go down to the whole situation and the story, it goes back to 2015 when Ugandan government wanted to expand this airport so that they reached China in order to get a loan of 250 million or 200 initial loan of 200 million. So this was a 2% interest. This loan was with a 2% interest rate with 7-year grace period, with maturity of 20 years, giving 20 years maturity to the loan. So this year marks the end of the grace period, making the Ugandan government to restructure its debts, saying that the airport was not financially performing in order to continue its payment. So during the grace period, the Ugandan government will only pay the interest rate, not the whole portion, or the whole won't start paying the loan in the grace period. So due to this factor, Ugandan government reached out to China and asked to restructure its debt, to renegotiate some terms. So some of the terms, Chinese Exim Bank and the counterparts were not interested, or they didn't want to amend the proposals that the Ugandan government proposed. So this negotiation was hugely quoted in social media and mainstream media, saying China is debt trapping Uganda and trying to take over the airport, quoting that it's a debt trap and so on. This was mostly exaggerated and mostly false claims, and right now no one is talking about it. 2 or 3 months passed. Chinese didn't take over the government, didn't take over the airport, and no one is right now talking about it as well. So if you take China, for example, there is no airport or port controlled by China in any part of the world. Only in Djibouti, where they have a military station. That is not only China. In Djibouti, they have Japanese, British, the Americans. All bases are there because it's a choke point in the maritime route passing the Suez Canal. So China is engaged in a lot of projects recently. It's not a secret anymore. Chinese Belt and Road Initiative process around 3,000 to 4,000 projects all over the world with around $2 to $3 trillion invested in these projects. So you name any country, they have some sort of a connection or some sort of a national level project going on with China. Moreover, if you take, for example, China is the leading or the main trade partner for over 120 nations. So I don't think if China comes in terms of debt trap, all these 120 nations or all these projects which account for about 2-3 trillion USD would continue in this way. So mostly these projects are quoted by so-called political analysts and in media in order to get their timeline and their ratings up. And this paved the way. The Ugandan scenario paved the way through Sri Lanka, because back in the day, Sri Lanka also had the same issue with the Hambantota port, which is a commercial agreement in Sri Lanka, and it also was hugely commercialized and hugely circulated around the world, saying China is debt trapping Sri Lanka. But if you take today, for example, Hambantota port recently got the ISO certifications as well, saying that through an independent international agency. So, and their businesses have been growing at a rapid rate, and all of the projections and all of the accusations which was thrown at to them a few years ago, right now is being answered. So no one is right now speaking about the progress the port is making. And many international academics quoted that Hambantota port is not a debt trap. Some scholars from Oxford University, some leading academics, many reports quoted that it's not a debt trap for Sri Lanka. And this same scenario happened for Uganda as well. But I'm sure in coming years, people will go through the numbers, people will analyze this situation and give the facts and figures how to show that the whole story is not true.